Elon Musk making further inroads into doing huge business in China while simultaneously sitting in the back pocket of President-elect Donald Trump. In this breaking story, which I'm going to show you in a few seconds, can you imagine at any time in your life's history actually stating that the person with the most influence over, first of all, a huge percentage of Congress and Republican elected officials, along with the president-elect, the person about to run the United States, is simultaneously in the back pocket of one of our two main adversaries and one of the two largest, most powerful countries on the globe? This is staggering. And if it weren't, in this breaking story, for a couple of top Democrats, this seemingly would just be going unchecked. This is unreal in this breaking story. And take a listen about this association with Musk and China on a macro financial and data level. Wow, here.
Why are we not talking about Tesla and Elon Musk enough? Just take us through your thinking here. In what way should we look at a company like Tesla, who obviously has massive exposure to China as a final market, but also supply chains and the relationship? And, you know, who knows, if Donald Trump wins, Elon Musk might actually get a position in the administration.
So Elon Musk is a brilliant entrepreneur, world's richest man, but also someone who refuses to say anything critical about China. And so you wonder what is missing there. And then you dig into Musk's exposure via Tesla, and you find it to be absolutely massive. The other issue, and it's true for most of these major companies that have large China exposure, is that Beijing views them as a threat. It's worried about all the data that Tesla can collect in China. And so as a result, it tries to limit the ability of Tesla to do that. It requires it to store a lot of data in China. And as we all know, storing data in China can cause real problems for the safety and the sanctity of that data globally. So that's another major risk. And we are starting to see cars as smartphones. And when you allow for a company with very heavy China exposure to gather global data, it's something that regulators, investors also need to be aware of.
But the fact that Elon Musk has shifted to the right and you know, as Dave mentioned, potentially could be in a potential Trump administration, do you think that bodes well for at least China, that, you know, that there is someone of influence in this Trump administration potentially that could help maybe weather these relations between U.S. and China?
Yeah, that. And fortunately, two top Democrats regarding all the spending bill fight in the last couple of weeks stood up and said, how about no? Here is this amazing breaking story on what just happened. Breaking. House Democrats say GOP caved to Musk in funding bill, protecting his China interests. House Democrats Jim McGovern of Massachusetts and Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut say their Republican colleagues in Congress caved to the demands of Elon Musk, sinking a bipartisan government funding bill that would have regulated U.S. investments in China. Congress passed a separate stopgap funding bill over the weekend, averting a government shutdown. In a series of posts on X, McGovern said more could have been accomplished. The scrap provision, in quotes, would have made it easier to keep cutting-edge AI and quantum computing tech, as well as jobs, in America, he wrote. But Elon had a problem. Tesla, run by Musk, is the only foreign automaker to operate a factory in China without a local joint venture. Tesla also built a battery plant down the street from its Shanghai car factory this year and aims to develop and sell self-driving vehicle technology in China. In quotes, his bottom line depends on staying in China's good graces, McGovern wrote about Musk. He wants to build an AI data center there too, which could endanger U.S. security. He's been bending over backwards to ingratiate himself with Chinese leaders. SpaceX, Musk's aerospace and defense contractor, has reportedly withheld its Starlink satellite internet service over Taiwan at the request of Chinese and Russian leaders. Taiwan is a self-ruling democracy that Beijing claims as its territory. Taiwan's status is one of the biggest flashpoints in U.S.-China relations. DeLauro, the top Democrat on the House Appropriations Committee, wrote in a letter to Congress on Friday that Musk needs, in quotes, Chinese government approvals for his company's projects in the country. It's concerning that Musk has ingratiated himself with Chinese Communist Party leadership, she wrote. In the letter, Delora referred to the Tesla and SpaceX CEO as President Musk, alluding to the fact that the world's richest person began railing against the prior funding bill on Wednesday before President-elect Donald Trump came out with a statement of his own. Trump had wanted the GOP to sink the bill and issue a new one that would raise the debt ceiling so he could avoid that fight during the start of his second term in office. The stopgap funding bill, which President Joe Biden signed on Saturday, did not include the 2-year suspension of the U.S. debt limit that Trump was seeking. Musk responded to Delora's concern by calling her an, in quotes, awful creature in a post on X. As I continue to say, it is not even January 20th yet, and Elon Musk and Donald Trump are sometimes together, sometimes fighting one another, and yet all the while, Musk himself is becoming more empowered and more powerful when it comes to his engagements with Putin and now China regarding his money and investments. And we know the one thing Donald Trump loves is money and power. If you think for 1 second Donald Trump is America first, think again. We may not even be America third by the time we even get to January 20th. Folks, Merry Christmas Eve, happiest of holidays, but stay frosty.